Do we have the moderator?
Team, my name is Ravinder Singh.
Okay.
I will be the moderator for this session. Okay, so I hope I am audible.
Yes.
And project management experts to the podcast and has helped over more than 500,000 students to prepare for the PMP exam. He has authored dozens of articles on projectmanagement.com and PM World 360. He speaks at conferences around the world about project management, agile methodology, PMOs, business, and artificial intelligence in PM. So Cornelius, you have the floor. You can proceed.
Thank you very much, Ravinder. 500,000? No, not 500,000. 60,000 people is whom I helped to get ready for the PMP exam. No. 500,000, that would be a bit much. Thank you very much, Ravinder. Hope you can see my screen. You should now see a swirling
Yes.
kind of network thing. Introduction to artificial intelligence for project managers. Thank you so much. Happy to support the cause. So let's jump into this. This is our agenda for today. And frankly, I think I have been a bit too ambitious. 45 to 50 minutes, including questions. I hope we can get this done. If not, I'm going to just shorten and make sure that we end on time in 60 minutes. Out of all of these topics, obviously, the big theme of today's event is VUCA Crisis Management. How can artificial intelligence help here? And spoiler alert, not a lot, because we are only in the beginning. Okay, so is everybody using the chat here on Zoom, or are people using the chat over in Slido? Which one do I have to monitor? Because I would like you to topic here at hand. This is a quote from the Washington Post, from an article posted about 2 weeks ago. The article itself is not specifically about project management. It's a more general article. And I love this statement because it is so true. Artificial intelligence is not going to take your job, but you may have to work with it. And if you want to go to bed right now and you take this with you, I think this is the big message that I want to get across. Out the same way and then twists the ending quite a bit. I have a second quote to get us started here. Slow down. Bill mentioned this during a recent virtual panel discussion, and I agree with Bill, because when it comes to artificial intelligence in project management, and this is my take on this one here, then don't just go rushing in. Slow down and go at it with intent, to have an idea how you can do that at the end during Now, I'm going to go off screen for quite a lot of this presentation, come in and out, so that you don't have to watch me, because I like to really be animated as I present. So there we go. Let's focus on what's on the screen here. What is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is the really development of computer systems that can perform tasks that are typically requiring our human intelligence, learning, reasoning, problem solving, decision making, those kind of things. Let's take a look at what this means in regards to a few examples here that contribute to increased efficiency and reduce human error as well. And then the third one, virtual assistants in customer service. You've probably chatted with a virtual assistant, an artificial intelligence virtual assistant, or on the phone, maybe a voice assistant. These help business provide instant customer support 24/7, handling the common queries and then routing it to a real person once the query gets too complicated. So 3 examples here of how artificial intelligence is generally used. Now, in project management, what does this mean for us? Here, artificial intelligence refers to technologies that assist us project managers in doing all kinds of things: analyzing complex data, forecasting, projecting outcomes, enhancing decision-making. If you read through this, what it boils down to, in other words, artificial intelligence helps us with the tedious, repetitive tasks. Artificial intelligence is a smart workhorse for us that handles these repetitive We rely heavily on a project manager's intuition and experience today. That leads to maybe personal biases that you and I have. And if we have an artificial intelligence there, this is optimized with historical data. And if the data is good, then the prioritization will be okay as well. Schedule optimization. The traditional scheduling tools, they often rely on us manually inputting things. There are predefined constraints that create these product timelines. An AI-driven schedule will automatically adjust to real-time changes, maybe delays, new requirements, somebody on holiday, and adjust to these real-time changes. And then on the analytics and reporting side, today's tools, they do have basic analytics, basic reporting. Where AI helps is vast amounts of data can be reviewed to identify trends, patterns, correlations that may be missed by you and I, because there is so much data that we just cannot look through. And the AI, yes, does it in seconds. These are the things that are used in a basic chess program, for example, that responds to your move, and then it makes a move and you make a move. And based on that, it just follows along. It has predetermined moves. So simple responses. Limited memory AI, here again, we talk about recommendation systems. For example, a music streaming service that suggests product based on a user's listening history. However, frankly, if you look at my listening history on Spotify, I have, Mozart, then I go to ZZ Top, Frank Zappa, Queen, AC/DC, some country is in there. I think the artificial intelligence over at Spotify is self-aware AI. That is a hypothetical artificial intelligence system. It not only interacts with us empathically, but it also exhibits its own self-driven motivation. It sets its own goals. So there is an awareness within the AI. This is the far future. Those are the things that you see in science fiction movies. When it comes to project management, Greyfly.ai recently published a survey where they a report where they interviewed project management experts on their views of artificial intelligence. And this here is one of the statements that I have taken from this report. They say that in project management, you can split artificial intelligence roughly into two areas of application: automation and prediction. So automation and prediction. How does this work? If we overlay this particular statement over the examples that we have just seen here, task prioritization there on the left is about 40-60. So we're talking 40% automation, 60% (70), 30 automation, 70 prediction. Automation is necessary for data processing and for reporting, but the primary value here in analytics and forecasting comes from the AI's ability to predict potential issues, see opportunities, and also inform us about trends and give us suggestions for decision making. However, automation and prediction, these are the two areas that Greyfly recommended. And I have to tell you, personally, I really advocate to go outside of this, right? Yes, you can squeeze everything into automation and prediction, but that's not sexy enough, frankly. We need more areas that we to sort our three examples into this right here, but I am going to add two more to this here: decision support and collaboration. Yes, decision support on the left, collaboration on the right. Under decision support, we have decision making. AI helps us because it can analyze vast amounts of data, provide insights for helping us to make better decisions, data-based decisions. And also, it can help us in creativity and idea generation. Artificial intelligence can help you in brainstorming, suggesting ideas, identifying trends, providing inspiration that you can then use to make a decision and say, yes, that is a good idea from this brainstorming list. Let's do that. On the right-hand side, we have collaboration. Here, AI tools can facilitate better communication. And AI can help us to address individual needs and concerns, again, by reviewing the collaboration, by reviewing the communication, and telling us where we should focus. So much for the basic sort of introduction that we have. Let me quickly move over to Slido here. So far, no questions that I can see come in. If you do have any, please don't forget to put them into the Slido chat. Now, for the big areas that I want to talk about, as I mentioned in the opening, data literacy. Quote from the Washington Post that said, AI won't take your job, right? But you're going to have to work with it. And I said, keep that in mind. There is another quote coming from David Luria. Let me bring that other quote in here. If it works, this is it. This is what David Luria says. AI won't take your job. The person who knows how to work with AI will. And my goal today is to help you understand what you have to do so that you are that person who knows how to work with right? That's really what we need to do. A very, very crucial skill for us project managers, enables us to make well-informed decisions, tackle problems efficiently, monitor project performance. Being data literate means being able to transform raw data into actionable insight. It is vital for us to develop and hone our data literacy skills to maximize the potential of our projects. And more than that, right? The importance of strong data literacy for projects. And achieving your greatest success. Let's talk a little bit more about the importance here, right? So a data literate project manager can analyze available information and draw evidence-based conclusions leading to better decisions. This approach reduces bias, increases accuracy in decision-making processes. So this is where data literacy will help you in decision-making. Under risk management, it helps you to identify potential risks early by analyzing patterns and trends in the data. This proactive approach helps in developing effective risk mitigation strategies and allocating resources for contingency planning. Yeah, and then on the far right there, advantage, there are two advantages, and one is really important for us, right? Organizations with data literate project managers, they will be able to deliver better result and gain a competitive edge. And if you are data literate and you have that on your resume, going to be the person who takes away the job, right? That everybody is afraid today, says, oh my God, is AI taking my job? No, no, you will, because you can work with AI, you are data literate, and you know what to do. And at this point, for those of you who are still awake, I know for some of you, it's probably very, very early in the morning, and you paid attention. You may be telling yourself and saying, wait a minute, Cornelius, didn't you just tell me that the AI is us? And I said, well spotted. Yes, absolutely. Nevertheless, you need to have these abilities as well. You need to understand those because you need to have them so that you can work in conjunction with the artificial intelligence. Let me show you some of the aspects of data literacy that are important for you as a project manager. Here we go. There are 6 and get the data ready. They will be on your projects, but you need to have a basic understanding here. Then data analysis, right? You need to know how to apply statistical techniques, visualization methods, critical thinkings in order to derive insights and patterns from the data that you have. And then once you have done the analysis, we get to the bottom left there, interpretation. You need to interpret the data. This is the process of understanding and making sense of the results that you got out of the data analysis. So analysis is step 2, interpretation is analysis is step 1, interpretation is step 2 right there. Critically assessing the findings, putting them into context, determining their implications, and then deciding. Data-driven decision-making. Talked about that a couple of times already. Yes, you want to use data insights to make informed choices regarding project scope, objectives, resources, risks, and so on. And then, of course, the big one at the end there, we know that effectively conveying data, visualize it, give clear reports, give presentations. well, then you are not 100% data literate, because that is a big part of what you as a project manager need to be able to do. Some basic AI skills here when it comes to data literacy. The basic argument of this slide, by the way, is data literacy is the these things even work, and explain the results that come out of the AI and interpret them for your stakeholders. And you also need to understand how AIs are being trained. How does this even work? Now, all of this requires a lot of data literacy. The human aspects of AI adoption, very important as a basic skill for us project managers. Data literacy, I have 4 suggestions for you. And none of them are going to surprise you. You're going to go, duh, I could have thought of that. Yes. So if you think about it, how can you become data literate? Well, here are 3 of them. Take an online course in data literacy, something like you're doing right now on the topic of data literacy for project managers. Go to a workshop, an in-person workshop, or read a book about data literacy for project managers. Like I said, none of these are surprising. I said I had 4. Yes, I have 4 because of this one here, YouTube. If you are new to data literacy, data literacy is the foundation that you need to have as we are moving into the age of artificial intelligence in project management. Without having data literacy, both you and your organization, artificial intelligence as a tool will most likely fail. Now, let us move on and let me check. Any all aware of the benefits that AI can offer, but at the same time, there are enormous risks, such as replacing people and using data against us. Personally, I actually don't think that AI is going to replace people. I think AI is going to augment people. It is going to help us, project managers, to become better at what we do. Again, we'll see how that works. As a manager, many of us already use data analytics tools backed by machine learning. Can you share? Your network engineers are much better positioned to help you with that. This is simply a question of setting the roles and responsibilities and the access right correctly so that only the to have access. Imagine if an AI has access to data that it's not supposed to have access and then blurts this out to everybody, right? So this goes the other way as well. Okay, moving on. AI's impact on project management. Why is AI relevant for project management? We talked about this already here. These are just tools, right? These are the things where artificial intelligence is going to come in and hopefully be the workhorse that I'm talking about. Hopefully be that tool that takes away the mundane tasks from us project managers. In my opinion, we project managers, we should be focusing more on something completely we project managers can focus on this here, right? This is where AI struggles and where we shine. And the greatest impact that artificial intelligence will have on you and me as project managers is on the actual tasks that we are going to be much more involved in. And it's these here: leadership and team management, because AI struggles to replicate soft skills, empathy, emotional intelligence, but we're very good at it. Stakeholder management, dealing with our sponsors, right? We need to build relationships with stakeholders, manage their expectations, keep them engaged, keep them going, moving forward, right? That's what we are good at. And making decisions in uncertain circumstances, right? We often face these situations where we must make decisions based on incomplete or ambiguous information. AI can provide that to me, but the AI cannot really make that decision. So all of this here moving into artificial intelligence for crisis management in PM under VUCA. VUCA conditions here. So let's talk about what happens in a crisis, right? And why both humans and AIs struggle. In order to respond to disasters and crises, decision makers have to act quickly, coordinate actions, make decisions. It covers large areas affected by a multitude of different factors and aspects. During a crisis, decision makers are working in conditions they are ill-defined, not really goals. The tasks are unstructured, there's uncertainty, shifting and completing goals, dynamics, continuously changing conditions, action feedback loops, time stress, high stakes, multiple players, you name it, right? And I'm not surprised that I struggle in these situations, and even less so when we're talking about artificial intelligence. But let's take a identifying, analyzing, and prioritizing potential risks and looking at risk indicators and alerting us when these risk indicators blow up and telling us you need to do something right now here. Under complexity, right? We'll get insights into complex relationships and dependencies in disaster response networks and the network data. This is where the artificial intelligence again shines, these insights into these complex relationships and seeing the patterns and seeing the trends based on the network data. And then last but not least, under ambiguity, here the artificial intelligence can help by simulating different scenarios and taking all those scenario variables and evaluate the consequences for us and helping us understand where things are going. Now, here's the big thing. Let me highlight 4 words on the screen that make it almost are needed. The problem is, and I'm fast forwarding here a little bit, we don't really have that information. Let me give you an example right here. About 2 months ago, you may have seen this in the news, there were a lot of rains in Northern California. Northern California was flooded, people lost their lives. It was a crisis situation as well. I have a friend who lives in Sacramento, and I was wondering, is she okay? Is there flooding where she lives? So I went online and I looked into finding real-time flood maps and getting information about where might this disaster hit us. And I couldn't find anything. I could find what you see here on the screen, you know, where it's raining, but does that mean it's flooding there? I don't know, right? A couple of weeks later, she was fine. Everything is over. I talked to her about this and I said, you know what? I was worried and I tried this. I couldn't find anything. And she said, this is actually rather interesting because my partner, her partner, works for the county in Sacramento. And he is an engineer, a watershed engineer, and he is part of that whole response team. He had to drive in to work every day and and help gather all this information. And he told her the biggest problem that they had during this whole thing, no data. They had no real-time data being able to analyze and see where things are happening. If you don't have data, artificial intelligence is not going to help you, right? And this problem has been known since 2012. This here is a quote from 2012. Many challenges of practical AI applications to disaster management are due to data-related issues, accessibility, completeness, security, privacy, and ethical issues, right? So it's really, really difficult to get that data in real time. So where does artificial intelligence actually help us then in disaster recovery? I mean, is it mitigation? Is it preparedness, response, recovery? Where? Well, good question. Glad I asked. It's actually the next slide. So mitigation, that is before the event, kind of installing flood barriers, doing those kind of work, maybe even building codes. Preparedness, conducting evacuation drills and just getting the people aware of what's happening. Response, that is when the actual event happens and you need to deploy search and rescue teams. And then last but not least, recovery, rebuilding damaged homes, fixing things after things have happened, right? And this report that was published last year, I believe here, 2020, They found in 2020, the majority of AI applications focuses on the disaster response phase. Okay. We have just determined we don't really have data during the disaster response phase as things are happening. Yet the majority of AI applications focuses on the disaster response phase. This is the moment when we come to the audience participation of my presentation. I would like you to go to Slido and type in the words. It's 2 words here that are missing. Most AI-based decision support tools during crisis management use blah, 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 data as input, right? So think about it. What would you do if you had a friend like I have who is in a crisis area? Where would you go? What would you do personally? What would you look at? What would you try? Where would you try to get the information that tells you, is my friend okay? Is my friend not okay? Right? And we're getting a couple here. We have historical right there. Historical, not really, because this is a developing situation, happens right now, right? I want to know right now, is my friend okay? So where do I go? How do I get the information out? Okay. I'm not sure if there we go. Crowdsourced, very good. Yes, crowdsourced. The best crowdsourcing platform is, what is it? It is social media. Yes, believe it or not, most AI-based decision support tools in crisis management will literally go to Facebook and Twitter and gather the data and pull the information out in real time from the people who are on the ground, citizens like you and I. All of this is in the very beginning. We're really only starting out. As I was preparing for this and looking into this, there is very little out there where case studies and things like that, and people who do these tools don't really talk about it. What I have found is academic studies, 3 of which you can see here. We're doing basic research and we're doing the groundwork in order for the future to help us in crisis management with artificial intelligence. And since we're talking about the future, let's look into the future. Our next topic is the future of artificial intelligence in project management. All right, what do we have here? This is from an article from PricewaterhouseCoopers, and in this article, they gave a nice timeline. They do have a few problems in this article in generally. So, I have a few critique points, which it's too big to go into that today. So I'm just going to be focusing on their timeline and what they tell us here. So right now, what you can expect as an AI evolution in project management, integration and automation of artificial intelligence is starting now. Within 2 years, or probably even sooner, we will have chatbot assistants. In about 10 years, machine learning based project managers. So the machine learns from its experience, from lessons learned, from things that happened, real-time learning that is ongoing. And then 20+ years in the future, maybe an actual autonomous AI project manager. Right? So if this is the future, the next 20 years, what does that mean for you and I? It means we must embrace artificial intelligence in projects, right? Here's an overview over 3, and yes, they are handpicked, right? This is a specific focus here for today. These are handpicked areas where we will be seeing artificial intelligence in and on our projects. First of all, tools. We talked a lot about tools already there. And the current PM software will improve, will get better. Then in the middle, the AI assistant That is not a typo. That is a word that I created and came up with, AI assistant, so a combination of AI and assistant. These AI-powered team members will become the norm. There will be an AI on your project team, and you will be referring to that AI by name. Why don't you go ask X, whatever the name of your AI is going to be? It'll be very normal to talk about the AI said, right? And then last but not least, as project managers, you are going to be asked to lead AI implementation projects. Somebody's going to come to you and say, you know what, our sales team wants artificial intelligence in their processes. Lead that project. And suddenly you're leading a project to bring AI capabilities to your company. Let's expand this a little bit. These are many of the tasks, the experiences, the things that we as project managers are going to have to do as we are working on projects with AI and in AI. Again, I have handpicked 3 here out of the many that I had here. So we need to communicate AI-generated insights with stakeholders, right? This is very important, right? As a project manager, you need to be able to effectively communicate these AI-generated insights, recommendations, and updates to our project stakeholders. And this includes explaining the rationale behind AI-driven decisions, addressing any concerns that they may have related to data privacy and maybe even algorithmic bias. So you need to be aware of what's going on, and you need to be able to communicate these insights. Then in the middle, when it comes to AI assistance, you have to be monitoring ethical considerations. You have to ensure that the use of AI-powered team members adheres to ethical guidelines, data privacy, fairness in the algorithms, and transparency as well. And you need to also look at the other side, address concerns raised by human team members. Maybe a human team member has a problem with the AI, and then you have to make adjustments as needed in order to maintain the trust, the confidence in the role that the AI assistant plays on your project. And then last but not least, AI is the hot topic of the day. You cannot open the newspaper these days and not see an article about artificial intelligence. And yes, it's always about either ChatGPT or BARD or Stable Diffusion or all these generative tools that we have right now. And it sounds like this is fantastic. This will solve all the problems in our company. Let's bring in artificial intelligence. We will be so much better. Everything will be so much easier. Wait a minute. You have to say, that may not be true. You, as the project manager, you have to be able to set realistic expectations amongst the stakeholders and bring them down to a level that is sound and helps them see that, yeah, this does sound a little too good to be true, doesn't it? Right. And let's also not forget, there is a big impact that AI can have and will have on your organization, right? Remember the weaving loom in the 17th century, right? When all the weavers suddenly got out of work. I cannot say how afraid they were of the weaving loom, but it must have been incredible. And today, you know, when you look at some areas where artificial intelligence is coming in, people are probably afraid of losing their jobs. And it has to be us to bring it to the attention of management to level set their expectations and make sure that things are done the right way. Now, before I move on to the conclusion, let me jump back over to our chat here. I don't see any new questions coming in. All right. In that case, let's move on to the conclusion. Wait, there is something in the chat.
Yeah, Cornelius, we have one.
We have one. Where do we have one?
You say it's, can you please?
Is it in Slido?
We recently, it says in Slido, it says we recently noticed ChatGPT and its benefits. In parallel, many nations are planning to ban it.
Oh, yeah,
How
yeah.
can we overcome this fear factor? Yeah.
Well, the genie is out of the bottle. Let's be absolutely honest, right? Banning something is not going to change the fact that it's coming, right? If you read a lot of articles, in the beginning, when ChatGPT came out, the early articles that educators were writing were about, oh my God, my students are going to use ChatGPT to write their essays. And yes, there are going to be people who use ChatGPT, Bard, and all these generative text AIs to cheat and to do things with a nefarious purpose. But you can drive a car to a destination, or you can drive a car into a destination and break the destination, right? It is up to the individual user to either do it positively or negatively. AI is just a tool. So early on, that's what the educators said. They said, this is going to be a problem. Everybody will be cheating. In the meantime, I've read a couple of articles, one from a philosophy teacher who said that, yeah, you know what? I frankly don't care. Out of the 20, 30 students that I teach in every given semester, yes, there will be one who is going to use a tool like ChatGPT to cheat and write their essays. That's not a problem for me, because the other 29, they are engaged. They really want to understand the philosophy, the ethics behind it, and move forward and learn from that. Okay, so that's one opinion. The other opinion was just 2 days ago from a teacher who got an essay from a student, middle school, I believe, and all alarm bells went off. A very unassuming, quiet student who suddenly wrote a beautiful essay. So this instructor was trying to figure out, was this written by ChatGPT or is this the student? And in the end, he couldn't determine it. So he flat out asked the student, did you write this? Or did you use an artificial intelligence? And instead of being offended, the student said, no, this is 100% me. Thank you very much for thinking that an artificial intelligence had written this. And this is when the light went off in the instructor's mind. He said, I was afraid of ChatGPT so much that I was accusing a real student of doing something nefarious, when in truth, I hadn't realized the potential that this student had. And this student now, because I told them, hey, did you use ChatGPT? They now know I'm really good at this. Wow. The teacher saw that I had used AI, but I wrote this myself. So the student actually told the instructor, I want to write more. I want to become even better at this, right? So there we go. That's kind of my opinion. The genie is out of the bottle when it comes to ChatGPT. And when the genie is out of the bottle, you can't put it back in.
Yeah.
It will come. Yes, you can ban it, but it's here. There's no way you can gonna stop people to do it. I use ChatGPT to write raw text. Glenn Alleman does this. Glenn has a blog herding cats, if I remember correctly. And he says, I use this to write raw text in response to an R.E.P question in under a minute that I would usually need 15 to 20 minutes to find. And this part of PM business acquisition is a useful approach today that will get much better. Glenn, I do exactly the same. I go to ChatGPT, I tell it what I need, it'll spit it out, and then I am the human that goes over it and does it. Here we go. It's now on the screen. Yes, that was in the chat from Zoom. All right. How much time do we have left for my conclusion? 4 minutes. Okay. So the most important thing that we want to go back to is this: slow down. Okay. How do you slow down? Ask questions. These are some of the questions, and I'm not going to go through them individually here. You can come up with these yourself. These are some of the questions that you want to ask yourself as you are preparing to bring AI in, as your company is preparing to bring AI in. What's the cost? What's the benefit? How and where can we really apply artificial intelligence to project management? Have a few more here on the next slide, right? What are the ethical considerations? Security, right? We had a question earlier on about this. How can we ensure data privacy and security? Well, you need data scientists and network engineers, right? And data engineers to help you design this all correctly, okay? My final slide here, also the takeaways. AI in project management will help us in automation and decision-making. More than that, I personally think that while AI is taking away these mundane tasks, also bullet number 3 there, optimizing project management processes, while AI is taking away these mundane tasks for us, these repetitive tasks for us, it means our focus needs to be somewhere completely different. It needs to be on the human side of project management. That's what we're good at if we no longer have to do all this busy work that we're doing right now. But in order to work with artificial intelligence, in order to be the person who knows how to work with AI and who knows how to do this and who has an advantage in the job market, you need to be data literate. Your personal data literacy is crucial. Be prepared to work with AI tools. They are coming. Every single project management software is working on it. Be prepared for the fact that you will have an AI assistant on your team and that you will know it by name. And my personal favorite names are actually Ada, as in Ada Lovelace, if you want like a female one. And if you want a male AI assistant on your team, please do call it Marvin, as in Marvin, the paranoid robot from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yes, little call to action there. And last but not least, you will probably be asked at some point to lead a project to implement artificial intelligence somewhere in your company. Yeah, and that's it. It was an ambitious agenda that we had today. I'm glad that I was able to end with 1 minute spare. Thank you, everybody.
So Cornelius, thank you for joining us and enlightening us with your ideas. I really admire that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks, everybody. Much appreciated.